If you have fibromyalgia, you know that pacing is a crucial part of living with this disease. But what does that mean? I remember thinking in my early days that pacing was this fictitious thing that was unattainable. But as I've learned, pacing is balancing my activities with rest. For someone who was used to just going, that was a hard thing to do. And then there's the guilt of having to pace in the first place. So let's talk about it. Researchers in the article linked below stated that performing consistent activities were associated with improved symptoms. Pacing, for me, involves listening to my body. Again, when you're in constant pain, how do you listen to your body? It always hurts. Well, in the beginning, yes, that pain seemed to overwhelm me. But now, when I think of pacing, I think first that pacing involves activities. That's the key. You have to have somewhat of an active lifestyle. One of my subscribers commented that she feels it's important to find something that you love to do, and I agree. She plays tennis. And I thought, oh my, I have already mentioned that I have 2 left feet, so anything sport related is not going to be something that I love. But decorating and cleaning my home is enjoyable to me. Decluttering isn't something I'd love, but it's necessary because my house is still out of order from when I was working on my dissertation. So I do that as regularly as possible. And when there's nice weather outside, like we're having today, it rained the last couple of days, but today's a beautiful day. I have learned that I do enjoy working around my yard, but anytime I am doing any of these things, they require me to rest after periods of activity. The key to pacing is not to overdo it. And I'm speaking to the choir here. If you pace, you are less likely to get a flare from too much activity because pushing yourself too hard will cause a cycle of crashing. And now the disease is controlling you instead of you controlling the disease. Slow and steady is the way to win the race. So number 1, paying attention to what will sap our energy and what heightens our pain is the number 1 thing to do. In the beginning, I could barely vacuum. Now I can go through my whole house quickly and not feel drained. If you do overdo it, it's okay to take a power nap. Now I have learned to not take that nap in my bed. I power nap if I need it, but I do it in one of my recliners because crawling into bed makes me feel worse about myself. But a nap in one of my recliners feels okay to me, and I'm less likely to stay there for too long. Additionally, if you are in bed too long, you may find it difficult to sleep at night. So again, in my experience, we need to get things done in the morning and early afternoon so we can rest at night. Number 2, use that energy you do have wisely. I am so guilty of overdoing it when I have a lot of energy, so I'm still learning too. I keep a mental note about the things I want to get done during the day, and I know that when I push myself too hard during those high energy days, it's going to impact my body later. So by breaking down those tasks into smaller parts can help. If I want to clean this room, for example, my mind goes endlessly to all the things that I need to get done. Dusting, vacuuming, mopping, decluttering, washing my curtains, dusting my shelves off. Let's go on and on. But I'm learning it's okay to break tasks down into smaller parts. Do just one thing, like dusting that bookshelf off over there. That's it. Later I can vacuum, or even better, breaking the task down of dusting off that bookshelf and just dust off the top shelf. Take a break. Dust off the second shelf. Take a break. You get it. Number 3, I have to prioritize my activities. I pay attention to those small tasks and how they affect me. I know that a trip to Walmart, there's not much else in my small town other than the local little stores that are fun to go into as well, can be enough for me because of the walking. I have to rest after, usually kind of a long rest, like a half an hour. I'll watch YouTube, for example. I already told you I have a little TV up here. So I can sit in that chair and watch YouTube. So maybe I had plans to go to Walmart one day. And on that day, I knew it would be too much. So I have to decide each day what I can do. I don't know if you have watched my video with my daughter. I'll put it here. My daughter's 36 years old now, but when she was in her late 20s, maybe early 30s, she described a time when I was quite grumpy, apparently. And this was at a family get-together over Thanksgiving. The reason I was grumpy was I did too much, like boom, 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 getting things done over like 4 days. I frantically cleaned my house, which is something that I could do once upon a time. But now, I still clean my house, but in small chunks, and I rest. She remembered getting my medicine bag and bringing it to me and saying, "Mom, take your medicine." And I didn't like taking it back then because it made me sleepy. I don't get sleepy now. Then again, I don't take my medicine still during the day, just at night, so there you go. And I did fall asleep. But that was what I needed. Right there on the couch. I think I was even sitting up with my head back and I was out. One of my granddaughters had her last choir concert for the year and she had a solo. I was super excited to go. But in the end, I didn't. It was in the evening, and anytime after 4, and sometimes earlier than that, I'm done for the day. Usually mentally, but sometimes physically. And I have eye issues that impair me a little in the dark. So I had to let it go. I can't let that guilt consume me. So I hope they understand. So let's talk about guilt. I think that one of the hardest things for most of us is the guilt of not being able to do what we used to do. But for many of us with fibro, we'll feel guilty for things out of our control. Our new lives require us to move at a slower pace. And I think it's the stigma we feel that others have about fibro. And then we take that on ourselves. But that's not fair or reasonable for us to do that. When I don't get as much done in a day that I put on myself, and definitely now that I'm retired and my husband's still working, sometimes I think, wow, that's all I did. Is it really that important? But the few times that I've said to my husband, I'm sorry, I didn't get to that today, he always responds with, I didn't say anything. That's his way of saying it's okay. He's a man of few words. But I know he's understanding. He never complains. I let him know every day when he gets home that I love him, and I ask him about his day. So let the love that you feel for your spouse, children, partner, loved ones consume you instead of the guilt. Now, I'm a person who apologizes about things that aren't even my fault. It's ridiculous sometimes, but I'll feel bad for slowing someone down or having to change plans because spending time with my family is important to me. But I can't imagine being a mom of young children. You young mothers out there, you have my heart and my support. The love for your children is enough. Hugs and kisses, watching them play. It's the little things they'll remember. So if you feel guilty about needing help to manage this incurable disease, chances are you're the only one who feels like you're a burden. Be kind and gentle on yourself. Do what you can and don't worry about the rest. I hope you learned something. Please let me know how you experience pacing and guilt. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. And I was quite